Hello and good morning to everybody. It is Thursday, 10 o'clock in Star, Idaho, where it means for me that it's time to start a stamp class. Welcome to Seeing Ink Spot's Backstage Pass. You guys, as pass holders, get to view these classes and get some ideas. These are made just for you. So I see we have one person who's popped on. I'm not quite sure who it is, but do say hello. And that way I know the comments are rolling. It's Karen. Okay, I was gonna say it was Kat, but it's Karen. Hello, Karen. Good to have you here. We are gonna be using the Bird's Eye View stamp set today and a couple others, and I'll show you what I'm mixing with it and tell you more about that in just a little bit. There's Kat. Kat is here along with, there's four of us. So let's officially begin with good Thursday morning and welcome to Stamp Time. Hi, Karen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kat says good Thursday morning as well. Awesome. Good. Good to see you guys as well. Wouldn't it be nice if it were like an in-person class, the real deal? I would have loved that. Okay. Nicole is here. Okay, so Nicole, I've been following you on your great trip. How cool is that? I guess you must be home. I'm not quite sure, but welcome back if you are. Daisha, hello. Good to see you as well. Let's see. Okay, so let me just say that on Saturday at 4:45 p.m., we welcomed a new addition to our family. In fact, at 4:45, we welcomed a black baby girl puppy. And at about 45 minutes after that, we had a party mix male. And then we had two white puppies, solid white. So not quite sure where the solid white is coming from, but this is our third party and our third solid white. So fun times ahead. We have just a few days in, and they've already gained quite a bit of weight. Their little bellies have pudged out, which is cute. But everything is going well on the puppy line thing. I will say, she had her first puppy and came running to me, and I was at my stamp room. And I didn't know she had the puppy or not, so I could see that she had, trailed some lovely, birthing stuff, Anyhow, we'll get into detail there. But so I went running going, is there a puppy somewhere? Is there a puppy? Is there a puppy? And because I could hear it chirping. And, funny enough, it was at my feet at the stamp desk. By the time I came back, there was this little puppy. And the other dogs were in the house, so I had to shoo them out of the room. Brian was very interested. Bosco was like, what's going on? So I got them out of the room, and I'm like, well, now what do? I don't have a whelping box. I don't have towels, nothing. So I'm looking in my room, and the only thing I had was a stack of Stampin' Up boxes that needed to be broken down and thrown away. So I quickly grabbed one of those, and I picked her up and the baby and put her in that. So, another use for Stampin' Up boxes. Turn it into a whelping box, a temporary whelping box, until you can get to the real deal. So that's my story. We have four little puppies. Their names are Beasley, Michael, Phyllis, and Angela. So there you have it. Hopefully, Livy, she's expecting babies right around September 26th. And they will be, we'll see what they end up, but they may be more of the cast of The Office. Yes, we have a full house right now. We have 8 dogs here. Don't tell my neighbor. She'll have a fit. Okay, so on with the show. Let's flip the camera. Let's do just a brief bit of business, and then it's on to Bird's Eye View. Okay, so here comes the hand. Yeah, your favorite part, I know. There we go. Let's see if we can get this tightened up just a little bit for you guys. Let's see, which way do I need to move? Nope, I need to move this way. Okay. Trying to get you as full of view as we can get here. Looking good. Okay, so today's class is Use It Up. Specifically, we are focusing on the Bird's Eye View stamp set. Here's my kit. And what I'm using up are some more of the Delightfully Eclectic DSP. So specifically, I'm using a lot of the black and white print and some of the other, but that's what I'm kind of aiming for today. So more on that in a minute, for sure, for sure. Next week, right here in the Backstage Pass, we'll be taking a look at the Trucking Along bundle. Let me turn this around so you can tell what it is. It is a pickup truck. Super cool. So I'm going to be using this. If you don't have this bundle, this is a bring your own supplies style class. Bring a bundle, and specifically maybe a punch bundle so that you can kind of work with your builder punches. Maybe it's the penguin builder punch or the sailboat builder punch. Bring that. Excuse me just a second. I have to sneeze. Sorry. Ay. Excuse the interruptions. Okay, so bring a bundle, a punch bundle. Pick out some DSP that you like with it, and then grab the ink pads and cardstocks that match it. And then just stamp along with me. It does not have to be this set. Just use what you have. That's the whole thing. Use your stash, use it up, and stamp along with me. So that'll be next Thursday right here in the Backstage Pass. And in 2 weeks, we have our fabulous Technique Time stamp class. You have 2 ways to register. You can register for the online version, and that will be a PDF. You can also register to have a kit sent to you, and that will ship right to your door. That is $31. The kit is $31. That includes the shipping. And then the PDF is $16. And that gets you all of your cutting sheets for everything that you're going to need and access here to the pass and everything else. Or you can place an order. With a $50 order, I will send the kit to you, and it will be super, super fun. Jolinda asks, what DSP will you use for the Trucking Along? I have some scraps of the Cheerful Daisies. So I'm not even quite sure the name of that. Fresh as a Daisy, is that what it's called? I don't know. One of those papers right there. So that's the one I'm going to use up some of that because it has not the daisy print side, but the brush stroke sides kind of just fit the vibe of the pickup truck to me. Okay, so don't forget to register for this class. It will be 3 Artfully Avid cards with some clever cuts, fancy folds, you know, the drill. And then in September, we will have our Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin on the 7th. This will be in the public page, so everybody can see this one, and that will be fun. We'll have to see what we're going to do with that. And then so that's my class in September. And then I've preempted my other classes so that I could, 1, be at a wedding in Denver, and 2, get to serious work prepping for Studio Ink Spots. This is going to be a stamp camp, and it's a 4-day intensive stamp camp. So the first day we have opening night, games and festivities along with the presentation. And then the following week, we have our workshops and more presentations and more surprises. But so sign up for that. I will start pumping out more information about that. There is information on my blog. So if you go to my blog and back up to like August 1st, you'll see all of the detail on that. And I have some new surprises for this year's stamp camp that you won't want to miss. We are going to feature the Paper Florist dies, and I'm going to be pairing that with the Modern Garden. Why do I keep calling it morning? It's Modern Garden stamp set that is going to be available in September from the new holiday mini catalog. So the September-December catalog, if you want to call it that. So it's going to be fabulous. There's stamp challenges. We're going to have a garage sale. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff happening. So new additions to stamp camps. All right, so on with the show. Here we go. Bird's eye view. Now, you'll notice in this stamp set, you are kidding me, Marcia. Oh, mamacita, that is bad news. Paper Florist dies on back order until September 18th. Oh no. Okay, well, thank you for the update. I did not see that. I usually look at that, but I didn't look at it this week. Okay, crud. All right, well, so paper florist dies are on back order. You guys tell me, should we just push the camp into October? And then that way we can still use that, or should we switch to a different bundle? You tell me your thoughts. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll put a poll out in the Backstage Pass as well. Ugga mugga, as Finley would say. Okay, all right. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, switching gears. Okay, so bird's eye view, great stamp set. The images are so fun and charming and whimsical. They're happy. There's no greetings. So, I don't know. Wait, what dates in October? We could do just about anything. I mean, it could be, I don't know, make suggestions. The more people that make suggestions, the more, the more we can kind of flip things around a little bit. So Marcia says, yes, push camp until later. You've worked hard, I'm sure. I have done some work, and I can easily adjust it. What I can do is just put October's technique time into the September slot. So, I mean, I can just flip-flop just like that. Okay, so back into this one. No greetings. So that's why I'm pulling the Pansy Patch stamp set here, because I feel I'm not using any of the flowers, okay? I'm using these greetings because I feel these greetings are just they're just spunky, and they just have a playfulness that I felt fit bird's eye view. So grab some greetings that you have that you feel fit this bundle. The other thing I'm doing is I am pulling in just my type. So, and you'll notice that we've recently used these. So hopefully you might have them or something like them. The only thing I'm using from this stamp set is my favorite little flower. And you'll notice here, I think that this is maybe the same artist. I don't know. But if you'll notice here, the flower, how it's kind of like not a smooth, the line art, it has a little bit of a jaggedness to it. And so do these. So that's why I'm pulling that flower, because I wanted to mix a flower in. So there you have it. There's the background on what we're doing. I'm also using some die cuts here, and I'm using some basic shapes. So basic shapes meaning, you could pull out any sorts of things. You might have, instead of stylish shapes, you might have the other stitched shapes. So I'm using some circles and some banners, and then I am using some of the countryside corners. So just find some basic shapes. You don't have to have the same as me. Just kind of, if you want to mimic or go off on your own tangent, that works great as well. Okay, so here's my kit. Let's get going with card number 1. Let's see what we're going to make today. So here's my bird's eye view Use It Up kit. Now, the only way you can get a Use It Up kit is if you place a $75 order. So with the $75 order on my current host code, you'll get Technique Time, and then you'll get the next month's Bird's Eye View kit. So Bird's Eye View came with our Cheerful Daisies class packets. So Kayleen says, I choose October, but not the week of October 16th through the 21st. Fall break on cruise with grandkids. Ooh, that sounds fun. Okay, that's good to know. Plus, well, the thing is with fall breaks, they're going to be all over the board with everybody because nobody has the same breaks anymore. Anyhow, so on with the show here. Okay, so our first card, let's see. Let's just pull up this pink. This is Bubble Bath. It's a half sheet of Bubble Bath, scored in half. We're going to use that. And what else am I going to use on this card? Since it was the first card stock up, I thought, okay, well, might as well use that one. So I'm going to use this piece of DSP from Delightfully Eclectic. It is a floral piece, and on the back is a Bubble Bath stripe. So we're going to use that. I'm going to take these things and set them aside. Let's see here. I'm going to use this as well. I think we'll use that. I like the way the olive picks up the olive in the leaves. And in my pack, I also have some basic white here. And you'll notice that these basic white are some different sizes. So this smallest one, set that aside. That will be for another card. That's going to be the inside layer. Then you have just some white. It doesn't matter which one you use. This one is wider and bigger because when I cut the 4-inch side off, this is the remnant. So rather than throwing all that away, I'm just like, well, we'll use that to stamp. So that's going to be one of our stamping pages that we're going to need. And I'm also using, I had a bunch of packs of these. And so they are the 20, 21, 23 in color opal rounds. So these are the evergreen and the succulent and the polished pink, the freesia. But you know, they start to pick up other colors and work great. So that was also in the kit, but you could grab any gems and things that you have. Okay, so let's start off. And the first thing that I want to do with this DSP is I am going to cut a 1/2 inch off. And I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of the stripes going vertically. So I'm going to put my right edge here at a 1/2 inch. So there's, is it 1/2 inch? I'm trying to remember. Let me do a little quick measuring here on another card. Let's see. It's 3/4 of an inch. I'm glad I looked because I would have screwed up. What else is new? Okay, so 3/4 of an inch. So I want 3/4 of an inch of this vertical stripe right here. So I'm gonna save this for another card. And now this piece here, we're going to have this piece be 5.5 by 5 1/4. So here's my, we're already at 5 1/4 wide, right? There's 5 1/4 over here on this side. Now I'm gonna turn this to be 5.5. Okay. And so you have this scrap as well. We're not going to use this one, but just know that we have it. And now that I have this piece that's 5.5 by 5 1/4, that's really tricky when they are so close like that. So just be really aware of what you're doing. The 5.5 is my long side, and the 5 1/4 obviously is my shorter side. Along the longer edge, we're going to score at 1.5. 1.5, we're going to score this. So cutting blade out of the way, 1.5. Okay, and that is going to be all of our DSP cutting. And then I'm just going to fold this over. And so this is going to layer on my card base just like so. So that's the first start. So it's just kind of a fun way of using both sides of your DSP, showcasing it, right? So I'm just giving that a good burnish, and I'm going to, oh, nice, a new bottle of glue. I used it just a little bit yesterday. So I'm going to just give this a quick little glue down, and I'm not going to do a huge, you know, not going to worry about it too much. I just want it to stay down, but I just really love our, you know, quick and easy layers here for our DSP. So let's glue this onto our card base. Again, our card base is Bubble Bath. And then this DSP is from Delightfully Eclectic. I agree, Kayleen, this is a cute piece of DSP. The whole pack is good. The whole pack. And because it's a 48 sheet pack of paper, big pack of paper, it's like getting 4 packs of DSP in one. So that's why I use it a lot. We have a lot of variation in this. Okay, so here is the base of our card. And next, I'm just going to kind of set this aside for a moment. We're going to do a little stamping on this piece here. So I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to stamp off the edges. I am going to use Old Olive. And I am going to use the leaf image from Bird's Eye View. Hopefully you can kind of, maybe it's better if I just put it down. So it's a little leaf trio. Oh, that's a good shot of it. So Old Olive. And each time I stamp, I'm going to stamp off. And so we're just going to start and fill this in. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to just kind of fill that in. But I do want to just kind of, I'm going to make this kind of like a starburst with the leaves in a way. I should have done it in the middle, but that's okay. Stamp off. I hope I don't forget to stamp off. But we're just kind of, you know, twisting and turning. Oops, I missed. Shoot, Queen. Well, we'll put that on the side that's not going to show. There's always a way to fix it, right? Just come in here and have some fun filling this in, making a cool background. Let's see here, fill this in. Part of the issue is when you have the camera right over you, it's right where your head wants to be to lean in to look and see, what am I doing? But now since I kind of have a weirdness right there, I've got to make sure that this side looks really good. So slow down there, Bubba Louie. That might help. There's that one. Looking good, looking good. Okay, got a little weird on that one too. That's okay. Just fill this in. Oh, I hear crying puppies. Okay. And we'll just do a little fill right there, and that should be good. So just creating my own texture, my own DSP, kind of sort of, you know, in a way. I like that sort of thing. In fact, we're going to do that today. We're going to be creating tone-on-tone backgrounds. So this is our, you know, one of our tone-on-tone. We'll do some color on white as well. So there's that stamping. I'm going to bring my cutting trimmer Duma Fletchy in here again. And I'm going to do a score line here. Let's see. Let's do it over here. And I'm going to score from this corner to this corner. So we're just going to kind of square this off. So just place those two corners in your groove there. And just give that a good score. And we'll give it a fold back and a good burnish. And now we're going to add that to our card base here. So it's going to glue here to the inside. So we're going to throw a tab on the inside there. Now you could leave it and actually throw this up this way, but I didn't do all that fanciness this time. I am just going to glue it down and just do just a card layer on here. And let's see. Let me take a look at my inspiration piece. I'm going to do this just about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So if you'll remember, I had glue. Whoops, I have it squirting out the side. So we have glue to hold that tab down, and then this as well. So here are our first layers for our card, just giving us a little bit of, you know, something cool, something fun. And when you open, we'll actually do a little decorating right here just so that we can, you know, if we have this tab here, why not, you know, kind of give it a little focus since we have this here. We'll get to that in a minute. I could have just cut it off. That would have been fun, but, you know, and it would be fine to do that, but just trying to do things a little bit different. But now let's start doing some fun stamping here. So for this card, we're going to stamp with Memento Black. And for all of the cards today, they're all going to be Memento and Stampin' Blends. So if you want to do your cards, maybe you might stamp in Stays On and maybe you're going to watercolor if you don't have a bunch of blends. But if you saw the supply list, you'll see that I have a very big list of supplies, of blends in today's cards. So the first thing that I want to do is with a Post-it note. Okay, so let me just get a single Post-it note here. I am going to stamp the books. And I'm going to stamp the books up towards the sticky parts of my Post-it note. And we'll cut this out. And this is going to be a mask for us. So when creating a mask, we're going to want to clip right on the, we don't want to cut it out and leave any edge. We want to cut right on our image line here. Okay. That way, when you stamp, the other image will come right up to it. If you cut on the outside, it's going to leave a little bit of a gap. And that's okay if you want that, but I don't want that. So I am just cutting most of this black image right off. I'll just come around here. And I'm just going to clip that off for now, just to make life easy. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my little, I have this little garbage. It's a, I love this size of mason jar. This is a ball, but I have this usually by my side for all my trash right here to collect all my, I put it right to the right usually. Sometimes I forget to pull it out, but right to the right so that I can dump all of my, it's usually filled with dimensional covers. Okay, so today we won't be doing much die cutting because my die cuts are already cut out that we're going to need, but we're going to be doing a lot of fussy cutting. But I have a lot of mine cut out too, just for time's sake. But that's the direction this type of stamp set takes me, is to fussy cutting. Okay, so now that I have my stack of books here, I'm going to stamp it. And actually, let's just go like this. And I'm going to set this here. I know we're not stamping just yet, but it tells me how tall these books are, because I'm going to stamp my first stack of books up a little bit higher. Okay. So there's my first set of books. Come up high enough that you can fit another stack of books in here. But go ahead and use your Post-it note to cover up your books, just like so. And now let's stamp more books right underneath. Okay, so I'm just kind of lining that right up the best I can. And so now my stack of books is just a little bit taller. And we're going to do that twice. So let's do another stack of books here. There's a stack of books, and we'll cover this up. And we will stamp that right there. So now we have 2 stacks of books. Save that. I like to put these inside the stamp case. That way I can use them again and again. And now we're going to stamp some birds on top of these stacks of books. So one stack is going to get this cute bird here. Okay, so we'll just stand him right on top of the books, like so. Ta-da! Cute! So cute. And let's give him a pair of glasses. And I actually have the glasses on, I have both pairs up on the block here. I'm going to use the more cat's eye shape for him. And just kind of position that over the beak. There you go. I just think they're so cute. Super cute, super cute. And let's see, on this stack of books, we're going to do this larger bird. Okay. And he or she is gonna stand on this one. Just like so. And on this bird, we're gonna stand another bird. And it's this small bird. And just stand him right on this guy's head. This is our ode to Brent Steele. Those of you who might remember who Brent Steele is, he used to work for Stampin' Up! many years ago, but he would often do bird cards when he would present, and he would always stack them on top of each other. So here is the start of this. And what I'm going to do first when I go to cut these out, and I have mine cut out already, and we'll color these, but And you can see I actually didn't make this stack of books big enough. I changed my mind as I'm reviewing, so I'm gonna just cut out another set of books and we'll just tuck it under. That's another way you could do it if you didn't want to mask. So I need another set of books. I'll have to cut that out. Okay, but I want to show you this little gap right in here. And I know it doesn't always show, but sometimes it does, okay? Especially if you're on white, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna show. But if you put this on top of color, it shows. You would have that white right in there, and I don't like that. So here's what I'm gonna do and kind of show you what is fabulous. This new tool right here for the Take Your Pick tool, it comes with the dental pick that we call, and then it also has the rotary blade. But yes, I've been waiting for this for a long time because you see me use a hobby blade a lot. So I'm gonna use that, and I have somewhere, I can't find my little, an old Stampin' Up one, but I'm just pulling out a self-healing mat for underneath. And when you want to cut these out, don't cut out your entire image and then think that you're gonna come in here and cut this square out, okay? The reason is it's gonna be very, you just don't have enough paper around it to support these little legs. So let me go back to a couple comments here. Sherry, hello, awesome, glad you're watching today. She says, good to be here and watch your creativity. You've been so sick. Ah, man. Well, I'm glad that I can be a little bit of a diversion for you, and I hope you feel better soon. Kim Gibbons, she's right there with you on that complete fussy cutting. Yes, okay, so and here's even more fussy cutting. So I'm going to take my hobby blade and do this step first, you guys. Don't cut around and then think you're gonna cut this center. Always cut your hardest spot for fussy cutting first. Okay, because what you'll have is you'll have just a little bit more paper and leverage to work with. And you won't be trying to cut up against this tiny little nothingness. And then, because that's just gonna be a recipe for disaster and it's gonna tear. So just like that, I can get that out nice and clean. I'll even do this one here. And you guys, you can bypass this step. It's totally up to you. But I'm gonna do it just because I can. And I'm kind of stuck here at home for a while because when these puppies are just little, you know, if I start to hear them cry like crazy, I'm in there in a flash, right? Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do there. And then you would come in and fussy cut, and I'm not gonna worry about that one because that one's so close. But then I would come in and fussy cut all of the sides, the outside. So there's that. Let me fussy cut this one because I needed another stack of books here. Okay. Just come right in, do a quick, these aren't so bad. And I'm just gonna do a rough chop just like that, just to kind of speed things up. And just come around in here and around, just turn your paper just like that. Kind of go through pretty quick. And come around and around. And the last, okay, so. And then, like I say, you're gonna cut both of these out. Yes, Sherry, we had more puppies. I talked about them earlier. I have not shared any photos. I just finally took some yesterday. I mean, well, I have some other photos, but you don't want to see those. They're gross. So that's cut out and these are cut out. So I'm just going to move this aside for now. I'll use that later, but let's do some coloring here for sure, right? I'll bring in some scratch paper. Yes, Sherry, we have 4 little puppies that were born on Saturday. I mentioned that earlier when we first started, and we have, well, I don't know how many more, but we have another litter coming right around September 26th. She has had 3 litters, one on the 26th, one on the 23rd, and then another one due on the 26th. So, kind of funny. So I am using Bubble Bath. I'm also going to use copper clay for these cards. I'm going to use some Old Olive and some lemon lime twist. Going back to your comment there, Shari, I will share some photos, but they're still kind of just teeny little blobs. Two of them are in the 8-ounce range right now, and two of them are one's 10 and one's 11 ounces. So they're still itty bitty, teeny tiny. So, okay. So let's color these and have some fun. First off, I'm not going to color the books at all. I am going to leave the books completely white. All right. I have another card I'm going to show you where I do color the books. But anyhow, we're going to leave them white just because the card needed some relief. There was like too much color going on. So let's color the birds. I'm going to start with pink. And so the birds are going to be pink and green and copper clay. So I'm going to start with light pink here. And I'm just going to kind of come in and give these each a color. I'm not going to color the wings pink. The wings are going to be a different color. But I'm trying to stay away from the eyes so that they don't, when you color over things a few too many times, they start to blur out a little bit. But I'm also going to use some Mango Melody. So I'm pulling Mango Melody. I know that it's retired, but it's a darker yellow that I have. You could use like Pumpkin Pie, Mango Melody. But all of our cards today, all of the birds are going to have Mango Melody beaks. Okay, so just that little bit, and you can put that color away for this card. And so while this is still wet, I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to dab some dark bubble bath right into these little shade lines, and then kind of down in here, and I'll just kind of add some dark just to start to create a little bit of shading. You can kind of barely see it. And while that's wet, I'm going to come in here with a little bit of Lucky Lime. This is Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm just adding a little dot of it here and there, kind of where I put that bubble bath. And I'm going to come back in with the light bubble bath and kind of pounce on top to continue that blending. Okay, and there you can kind of see that going there. So now let's move to copper clay. So many blends out. And so I'm just going to move this book aside. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to move the book aside. I'm going to attach it. So since I didn't stamp my original, when I stamped with you today, I stamped it 2 stacks high. But last night when I was making my original, I didn't. And I decided I wanted another stack of books in there. So there's that. Looks like I need to just trim a little bit off right there. Just like that. Okay, looking good, looking good. Nice. Okay, so now we're in the ballpark here. And we've just kind of put that book away and it's out of the way. Now this is the light copper clay. And you could use the bullet nib end, or you can use the marker end. And now I'm just going to come in and just along these little funny little swoosh lines, I'm going to add the dark copper clay. Okay, just kind of beef it up and hope that we can get some shading in there. And now let's, to me, this is the mama bird and this is the baby bird. So we're going to make them exactly the same. So we'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to kind of add this light layer of bubble bath on the body. All in here, just a quick color. And if I leave some white spaces, that's to me okay. It makes things interesting. It helps on your highlights and shadow and contour. Now I'm going to come in here and dab my darker pink and kind of come in and around same few areas just to create some interest and to layer in some color of basically it's wet, a little bit wetter right now because it hasn't dried all the way. And so when I kind of pounce on this lemon lime twist, it does just a little bit of blending into that pink. And I'm going to come back in with my light over top just to kind of blend that a little bit more. Okay. I like those little punches of the lemon lime twist make this little birdie come to life. Here's light copper clay on the wings. kind of give myself a turn here. Okay. And then same thing that we did with the other wing, and that is we'll just kind of come in here and accentuate these little lines that Stampin' Up! Has given us here and there. And I got some copper clay up here, so I'm just gonna blend that with my pink. In fact, I'm even just gonna blend. Okay. All right, there's birdie stack number 1. Now let's do this guy. So same drill. This is a pink bird. And I'm trying not to color over the glasses or the eyes. You will have crisper images if you don't color over. If you do color over a little bit, it's okay. But if you color over too much, it starts to, the Memento ink starts to bleed just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just kind of dotting down in here, kind of give him some shape on his face a little bit. So just some pink here and there. I'll blend that up just a little bit more with my light. Cool. Now, belly is going to be, we're going to do some light lemon lime here. We'll just fill this whole belly in. And then we'll fill in some more dark lemon lime, kind of on these little squiggle lines. And then I'm going to bring in a touch of old olive here and there. And I'm using my bullet nib on this one. Okay. Just some fun. Now the wings, let's make the wings like these birds. We'll do them in the copper clay. So is this light or, yep, this is light. Light copper clay. And then we'll give these wings just a little bit of detail with the dark copper clay. And we will call it art. Cute. Okay, so there is our coloring for this card. And actually, I should have also stamped a few other things. So let me bring this piece of paper back in. We're going to stamp a few more things. We are going to stamp the flower from Just My Type. Oh, Kathleen just popped on. Hello, Kathleen. So I am going to stamp, and you can do it right down here because we're going to fussy cut it out. We are going to want 4 flowers. And number 4, just sneak that in there. So 4 flowers. And I'm also going to stamp the little bird again. And we need to stamp the big bird, the bigger bird. So grab another one of your pieces of white paper here, your piece of white paper, and stamp this bird right here. We're going to do that one more time. And I have those done. I also have them cut out. I haven't colored them yet, but anyhow, just so you know. So that's the stamping we need to do. The other thing we're going to do with this piece of white is I want you to grab a banner from Stylish Shapes and die cut yourself a banner. So let me just kind of review here for those who have popped on a little bit later. We've stamped and fussy cut that out. We've stamped and fussy cut that. Okay, so now we have added a few more images. We've added the 4 flowers. You're going to need to fussy cut those. 2 more birds, and you need to die cut yourself a banner. And that will be all of the pieces that we need for this card. So let's see here. I already have my birds. I haven't colored them yet, but here's that one bird. Here's the other bird. And I have my flowers. I have those fussy cut. They take a little while to fussy cut, but they're fun to do, and they don't take that long. Anyways, so here's 3 flowers, and let me show you what we're going to do with these flowers. So let me just kind of, I'm going to brush all this stuff off for now. Okay, now that you know what the checklist is that we need, let me just kind of set these aside. This is how we're going to color the flowers for this card. I'm going to use light petal pink, light bubble bath. Just real simple. I didn't do anything but light bubble bath there. Then I'm gonna do copper clay light in the center. Just one quick little swoosh. And then I'm gonna use the nib end and just do like a C. And that's the same thing we did when we had the Just My Type card, right? And so let's fussy cut because I need 4 flowers and I only have 3 here. So the fun thing is I have all of these images that I will use after class. But it's such a fun set to work with, you guys. So I'd say if you haven't picked up this set, I think you're going to want to do it. Okay, just coming around these petals. And I said in the Just My Type class that these flowers were like embellishments to me. I wanted to just put them everywhere, kind of like gems or sequins. So I've stamped this flower probably 100 times and cut it out in the past several, you know. By the time you design a card and then teach it, you know, I have doubles, sometimes triples of everything. Okay. You would never think to color the birds like that. You know, I was kind of browsing around through Instagram and stuff and looking at what other people had done. And you'll see today we're going to do some more solid birds and we're going to do some more colorful birds. And I just really liked the charm of adding just a little bit more color. So yeah, they're colorful. It's just kind of a little bit more graphic looking. I can see I want to do just a little bit more. Since these have some lemon lime twist, I'm going to do just a touch of lemon lime twist on this bird. And I'm going to need to blend it because it's not as wet, but just to kind of make them a little bit more cohesive, like they're the same species, some unknown species, right? All right, so let's give these two a real quick color here. So again, just to review, beak is Mango Melody. I used the bullet end on that. And then I am just gonna do a real fast swoosh of color. Okay, kind of come in and around. We'll add some dark bubble bath right here on these lines, a little bit in and around the wing, down in here. And then let's blend in a little bit of that lemon lime twist, just kind of dot it here and there on the wet ink. You can see how it blends better on the wet ink than the drier ink. Okay, then go over it again with I'm gonna go over with my light, just to make sure it blends. And let's do the wing quick here. Just swoosh that color on. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we'll just kind of dab some in there. Okay, there's that one. And since I have the copper in my hand, let's just do a real quick color of this guy. Okay. And same thing on the body. And then we'll have them all done. This is the dark or the light? I think it's light. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Okay. A little bit of the dark right in here. Oops, that was the dark. Well, this is going to be a darker bird. And we'll dot a little bit of that lemon lime in there. We'll soften that little area right here. Cool. All right, now we are done with stamping and blending for this card. Put my blends back. Now let's start to add them to our card base. So let's actually do this. Let's do the inside just to kind of get rid of some of these pieces right here. So the inside, I've just done a sweet little grouping right here to kind of, you know, we have this flap over, so why not design the inside? I haven't put a white panel in here, you guys, but you could go ahead and put a white panel in if you'd like. But I also find that it's light enough that you don't need to. You could write on the bubble bath. We also have 2 pieces of scrap left over. right? So this piece of scrap, this 3/4 that's going this direction, this is for a different card. But we do have this piece left over. So it might be kind of sweet to, you know, add this kind of right across and give them, you know, you can zhuzh it up. So let's trim this down to be, it's 4 1/4 across, but I'm going to do it just slightly inside of 4 1/4 so that it will fit inside and not, you know, stick out. Okay. So we'll take this. Oh, we could do the flower side too, but I'm going to do the stripe side because the flowers are going to fight my stamped flower just stylistically. Okay. And if I hadn't glued that down so tight, I would have lifted it under. But let's just add this right to the inside of our card base. It's called using up all the bits and pieces. Okay, so mama bird, I'm going to glue the mama bird on. And then the baby bird is going to kind of come right there. But I'm going to put her, say, right about here. So cute, you guys. Oh my goodness. This could be a card front. I'm going to put this bird on with a dimensional. And then we'll put that flower on as well. So here, these two are together. So this little pair of this mama duck and her whole little tribe following behind her the other day on Star Road, which is a fairly big road. I had to stop to wait for them to all cross the street. Kind of reminds me of that. Okay, so the flower, you know, we could put the flower in her hair, down in here, but I kind of like it right up in here, kind of working with a kind of a triangle, you know, setup here. And so I'm going to put this on with a mini. I'm going to give it some depth. Why not? But there we have a cute kind of dolled up inside to our card. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You see what I did with the tag? Yeah. I could have made it like a secret pocket, but I didn't. Everything's just glued down. But yeah, I kind of folded it in. We're going to do that on another card as well. We're going to fold the tag up and over. Okay, so now for these images, these are going to kind of stack onto our card like so. And then we have some flowers that are going to decorate. Whoops, not right on her. But have some flowers that are going to punch things up. And if you remember, I had said we need to cut one of these out. So I have cut one of those out. No problem here. We're going to actually use this die twice today. So here's the first time. So this banner is going to sneak up in here. And what I want to do with this banner is we're going to use the happy birthday stamp that is in the Pansy Patch stamp set. And so I was talking with Julie Beltramo, and so she said, oh, change it to this. And I said, okay, that's good. So, because I wish this set had some puns. I mean, it's playful. It needs some punny type of greetings. So I'm using happy birthday, and let's see if I can do this. If not, I have another one on hand ready to go. But I'm going to use, you can just stamp happy birthday if you want. But I'm going to change it to happy birthday. But ching, I'll be here all week. Sorry, I'm using my Stampin' Right marker. And this is the new Stampin' Right marker. So there's that bullet end, if you want to see. It's much better than it used to be. It used to be so fine that it seemed like no ink would ever go to it. And they have changed the marker end as well, not as much. But here's what I'm going to ink up for now. I'm going to ink up happy. And I'm going to ink up B-I-R. So I'm just going to stop at the R here. Give it a little B-I-R. And I'm going to go over this a couple times here. When you're putting ink, you know, marker to red rubber is much better than marker to photopolymer. But it does work. But you do want to layer on. And I'm trying to clean up that A. I've got a little too much in the A. It might show in our stamping, but that's okay. So just add some layers there. So there's happy bird. And we're going to just stamp this kind of right about here. Okay, then let's give it a good clean. Okay, good clean and a good dry, kind of, you know, really cleaning it up. Now I'm going to just ink up the word day in here. But you know how it's connected, the H to the D? I don't want any of that connection. So I want just the day. So I'm trying not to catch any of that. I just want the D clean. And if I get some, I get some. If not, I'm aiming to not get any. But if I get some, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Okay, I hear puppies screaming in the back. I may have to do a quick dash off here for just a second. I won't turn anything off. Okay, it just stopped. Sometimes when it stops, I'm like, okay, they're okay. But I might need to just come in and go in and do a real quick check. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of line up the happy and the burr. Somewhat. I might come in just a little bit. Yeah. So happy birthday. So it's a bird. And then I'll just take my bullet end and do just a little bit of a swoosh right there in the middle. Let me show that to you. Okay. So now that is going to come up on the top here. So now we can start to add our pieces. Now that we've kind of roughed it in, now I'm just going to kind of swoosh them off. And I'm going to start with this guy first and put him on with dimensionals. We'll just do one, and maybe I'll do a couple down here on the bottom. And then maybe a mini right here, kind of in that middle spot. So we'll stick this bird on. Whoops. Backing went jumping. And this one's going to set right about here. So cute. Super cute. And if you think this one's cute, each card gets cuter and cuter, you guys. Seriously. I just love them. It's the birds. It's the stamp set itself that just is, it's charming. It's delightful. Okay. Now this stack, we'll just undo all of these. And we're just going to kind of layer it over, just kind of, whoops. I've got a dimensional, this guy I shouldn't have put on. So let me just peel this one off. And I'm just going to set it right next to it. That way I know it's not going to be half up and half down. So that should have solved my problem there. And it did. Okay, there's that. Now we'll put Happy Birthday on with dimensionals as well. I'll do a couple of those. Look at that. She's two-fisting it, doing two at a time. And this, what I'm aiming for is the Y to come right down between these, the heads of these birds. Just incorporating those, just like so. Now let's put our flowers on. I'm going to do these with dimensionals right in the center, keeping it easy. And I'm going to do one kind of right about there, kind of accents her. And then we'll do these other two up on the books over here, this side. Okay, just make sure they're not in the same orientation. I know I say it all the time. I'm a broken record. But I think they're just some kind of design approaches that make things a little bit more, I'm just looking at my orientation to make sure they're not the same. It just kind of, you know, it's fun. So there's that. Now let's do a little wink of Stella. And you're going to be surprised where I'm going to paint the wink of Stella. Let's just kind of shake her, juice her up, get her going. I'm actually going to highlight the books just a little bit. So just the bindings of the books, just to bring a little bit of life to the books, since we're leaving them white. Just like so. And then I am going to do the flowers right there. Okay. So fun, Kat says. It is. It's the stamp set, I swear. Okay, just a few more things for this. We are going to use, so this is the black from the the Essentials Baker's twine. I don't know the actual name, but I'm just tying a single little black bow here. I think I want it a little longer than this. Yeah, too short, a little bit longer. I would like this cotton, I'd like a big, huge spool of this cotton 1 millimeter black twine. I could use a ton of it. And it's still not long enough. Shoot, Queen, what is my malfunction? Okay, let's get it long. I just want a long enough tail. It's like, why do it if it doesn't have a very long, you know, it needs to make a statement. So there's that little bow. It's going to go right in there. So let me find a glue dot here. And I'm just going to do the old glue dot on the knot. Flip it over right about there. Cool, cool, cool. And we'll slip this under the end of our little greeting tag here. So I'm just going to lift that up, tuck that right there, just like that. Super cute. And we're going to trim that off. Kathleen says, this card is so cute. You love everything about it. It is really cute, you guys. It is super, super cute. And they're going to keep getting cuter. So here's our first card. Now we have some gems here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these that are this, they're pale papaya. And I am going to take my dark lemon lime and I am going to color these just like so. And it kind of doesn't totally show. So if you need a little bit more color action out of it, I'm going to pull in my dark old olive. I'm going to kind of wait for that layer to dry. Yeah, this is giving it just a little bit more color. It just needed to change the papaya up just a little bit. We could also even color, you know, the soft succulent would work well too. But we're just going to pull a couple of these and we'll just zhuzh up the books a little bit here. So I'm just going to do a gem. We'll do it kind of right up there and we'll do one more right about here. Just keeping it kind of fun and spunky. There you have it, folks. We are done with card number 1. Usually we say card 1 and done. So super cute. Love the inside. That's just so charming. Alrighty. So you could also, you don't have to do it as happy birthday. You could do just happy birthday. But I thought this was funnier. Thank you, Julie. She was keeping us funny. Okay, card number 2. Let's see what paper we are going to use for card number 2. We're going to continue to use some more white here, but I'm going to go so this doesn't confuse you because this is from card 1. I'm just going to do a real quick rough chop here. Okay, so we'll use that on another card. So we do need some white to stamp on, and our card base is going to be Berry Burst. And for this Berry Burst, in your bird's eye view packet, you had some whites. Now make sure the smallest one, the whites, the bigger ones are going to be for stamping. The small one will be for the inside of this card. So set that aside somewhere. And let's see, this scrap of paper, we're going to use this scrap of paper from that earlier card. We're going to use that. Then we're also going to use both of these as well. We're going to mix them. We're going to be pretty bold and daring here in our choices. And so let's see what we're going to do. We're going to bring in our paper trimmer. Let me just kind of scooch this out of the way for right now and bring these 2 papers in. And we're going to cut a piece of this. It doesn't really matter. It's direct. It's, you know, it can go either way. Has the swans on the back. I do not know what these swans are supposed to match in the catalog, but we have them. So we're going to do a piece of this that's going to be 4 1/8 by 3 1/4. So let's cut the 3 1/4 first. 3 1/4. Okay, save that. You can use it on another card. By 4 1/8. 3 1/4, 4 1/8. Okay, so this will be for our card base. And then this one here, we're gonna do 1 7/8. 1 7/8. Let's see which, yeah, that is the direction I wanna go. The back of this one is this cool print, but look, you have this whole thing, so you could use that on something if you wanted. And this one will be 4 1/8. And these are both going to layer onto our card base. Okay, so it's a top fold. So we're gonna have one piece here and one piece here. Wow, busy, busy, busy. And this piece here, we're gonna cut this piece down to be 3 inches long. So it is already 3/4 of an inch, and now it's gonna be 3 inches long. So just split that in half. Look, you could easily make this card a second time, and that's gonna be coming in here. Okay, so let's actually just glue these to get them out of the way, okay? We're not gonna glue this one on first yet, but we'll glue the other two just to kind of get things a-going. So we're not gonna use the swans. So I'm gonna set this just right down here on the bottom. I'm gonna give myself an even border on the 2 sides and on the bottom. And we'll do the top as well. Move some of this glue. Got a little heavy-handed in some of this. Okay, now I'm gonna just rotate this so that I can see what I'm doing. And again, I'm gonna give myself an even margin on the sides and the top and so I've got a gap there, that's okay. It just gives us a little bit of relief color-wise, but I also have, glue coming out. And so I could just like run my fingernail across it, but I'm just grabbing a scrap from my trash bin here and taking that glue right out. Okay, so there's our card base, kind of getting things set up. This one here, let's stamp this and get it ready. I'm going to use the greeting that's from Pansy Patch, and it's this long one. Let's see here, I'm just gonna pop it on this block. Okay, it says, a little hello from me to you. I thought that was perfect with this stamp set. Let me just make sure that this is on the block. I just gave it a good pressure, a good push, I should say. Okay, so I'm gonna ink it fully up in in tuxedo black. And I'm going to stamp, and I don't know if you guys do this, but I like to stamp it a few times just to make sure it is evenly inking up. Okay, and I'm going to stamp on my piece of paper here. And no, I know it seems strange, but I'm actually going to stamp down towards the bottom. Okay, right like that. So it's part on the pink, part on the white, and then we have a branch that's going to be coming across that. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this stamp aside. I'm going to clean it first here. And we'll pull this off, and I'm going to use the same block. I mentioned branch a minute ago. We're going to put that branch right here on this block because we're going to use that here in just a second. These are all the images, so I'm just going to set this over here. That's going to go on our card. So here, for this card, what are we stamping for this card? We are first, what I want you to do is pull out your stylish shapes or something else similar, and I'm going to die cut a circle. And so this was the number 2 circle. So the measurement on this is about 2.5 inches across. So you're going to want to get yourself one of those. Okay, so leave yourself some space. And now on the rest of this paper, let's stamp the branch. Okay, just kind of find a spot. I'm going to put it right up the edge here. So stamp yourself the branch. Okay, let's see, what else are we stamping on this? We're gonna stamp a bird. We haven't used this bird yet, but we're gonna stamp this bird. So I'm gonna just stamp it right down here. As you can see, we're gonna fussy cut it out, so no need to worry. I don't know if I left enough room for the glasses. Shoot, queen. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna use the round glasses. I'm gonna take the cat's eye off. We're gonna use the round glasses. Let's see if I left enough space. Just barely. Okay, woo, I snuck it in there. So there's the bird with the glasses. And we're gonna stamp the leaves. Where are the leaves? Let me take this flower stamp off for right now. The other side is the leaves. So it was old olive. It needs to be, we need to clean it up. Okay, and we're gonna stamp the leaves at least 3 times, maybe 4. Let's see if I can squish it in here. Maybe we'll go over here. Okay, and I'm gonna clean that off. And I'm gonna stamp the flower stamp. Well, I'm just gonna throw it on the other side. Hopefully you guys can see. It's the flower stamp. We're gonna stamp 4 flowers. Don't you think this little floral image fits this stamp set? This bird's eye view? I think it's just great. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure if I can get all 4 in here, but I think you get the idea. We need 4. Woo! Sneak it in there. Good thing we're fussy cutting that out. So 4 of those. Okay, and you're gonna fussy cut all of these out and color them. Let's see. I have some colored and some not colored. What didn't I color? Okay, so I haven't colored the birds. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna color these and cut them out. Let me show you what we're gonna do color-wise. So, and make sure you die cut that out. I'm just gonna set this aside for now. So color-wise, we are gonna use pecan pie for this card, for the tree. Okay, just make sure I have pecan pie and not copper clay because they are different colors. That's pecan, pecan. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the light pecan and I'm going to color, and I'm just gonna kind of, I'm just kind of drawing lines in here that just kind of fit the shape of the branch a little bit. And again, if I have some white spaces, I'm okay with that. Now I'm gonna do the same thing in the dark, just maybe not with quite as much pressure. So the tip is a little bit narrower. And I'm just kind of coloring that on. Maybe I'll pick this up so you can see it up close. But it's just giving me some more interesting looks there. That's all I'm gonna do for the pecan. And now the leaves, I'm gonna use lemon lime twist. Okay, both colors of lemon lime twist. And I'm gonna pull in a little bit of dark old olive. And so I'm gonna color all these leaves the same. I'm just gonna color with a layer of light lemon lime. So get them wet. And then add in some of that dark lemon lime while the light is still wet so that it'll bleed and bloom. And then take your bullet tip and then just kind of do a little bit of action with that olive. We just want a little bit of interest in there, just like that. Okay, we'll do that with all of these leaves. So start with the lightest lemon lime, then the darker. And I'm not coloring the whole thing. I'm just kind of swiggling down the vein. And now I'm going to kind of bullet tip on that vein and kind of let that bloom. Let that color bloom. And if it's not giving enough bloom, just go back in there and give it a little pounce with your light. Okay, so that was the light. Let's do it again. Okay, just giving these a quick color. Add that dark lemon lime and then a couple Just little bits of that old olive. One more set of leaves to go. Let's see. Just like so. And whoops, the lid's already off. That was kind of funny. And this one I kind of got a little strong right there, so I'm just gonna blend that with my lemon lime. She's got a loud bark. Okay, I think I just put the wrong lid on. Okay, that's okay. So I'm gonna take those colors away and I'm gonna bring in my Mango Melody. So all of the centers, these are gonna be like Marguerite daisies. So I'm gonna do light mango centers. Let me go open the door for her real fast. Sorry, folks. Mama needs a break. Come here, Lolo. Lolo. Okay, she's fine. Okay, sorry about that. Then I'm gonna take my dark and I'm gonna do the same thing we've done before, and that is to do just that little bit of a C action right on top of that. And it gives just a little bit, you probably definitely can't see it here on the camera, but it does show up a little bit in person. Okay, so now for this bird, we're gonna paint this bird bubble bath. So we'll do it just like we did the others. And I'm gonna do just some quick bubble bath. Give it a good bubble bath layer. Again, leave white spaces here and there. So that was my light bubble bath. Here comes my dark. Just kind of popping it in places here and there. And then I'm going to do the wing. I'm gonna pull in some berry burst here. And so I think I'm gonna start with dark bubble bath. And I'm gonna do just a teeny bit of berry burst. Just kind of punch this up just a little bit here. Okay, and maybe just a little dot here and there. Just barely touch. And go back in with your light and just kind of blend that out a little bit. Okay. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. So we've left this one a little bit more solid. Let's give him a beak, or her. So we'll do the same. I told you we're doing the same little beaks everywhere. So that all needs to be fussy cut out. And here's my circle. If you remember, we needed that circle. Okay. And so I have my flowers are all fussy cut already. So you don't have to watch me do all of that. Let's just kind of take this away. So I have my flowers. They're fussy cut and colored. I have my tree branch fussy cut. I also have all of my leaves here. I've cut them all apart. And each of them already has a dimensional on the back. I was just trying to kind of speed this process up. But there's all of my leaves. And I have more than 4 sets here. I don't remember what I have. But I have just a nice amount to work with, which I think will be fun. And I need to fussy cut my bird real fast. So let's just do a quick fussy cut of the bird. And if you remember earlier, I said I like to start on the hardest part when I'm fussy cutting first. Okay, because then I have more leverage and I have more paper to hold on to. So to me, the hardest part of this bird are his little legs. This could be a girl bird. So just taking that center out right there. Let me do a quick a quick rough cut. Okay. Grab my bird here. And I'm just going to come in. Don't cut its leg off. Just Come right up into there. Like I say, do the hardest part first, and then you'll have less likeliness of kind of tearing these, and you'll have something to hold on to. Okay, and then I'm just kind of wiggling my blade under there to get inside right there. And then we'll just come around like so. Come around the glasses. Get a little closer, as I'm getting a little off the edge here. Now, I'm not going to worry about the insides of the glasses, cutting them out, because I'm actually going to be layering this bird onto the white circle here. If it were going on top of the black, I might consider taking that out. Okay, just coming around the bend here to finish this up, this quick fussy cut. Just like cut and snip. Okay, now we have our pieces. Ta-da! We have everything we're going to need. We are going to stamp the inside of the card, and I'm excited to show you the inside of this card, what we're going to do. It's going to be cool, but let's put the front together first, all of these elements here, and then we will do the inside, which I think is really kind of cool. So this layer here, we're not going to do anything with this. Yes, we are. I lied. Bring your scratch paper back in. We're going to give this layer a nice, don't go overboard. Be very careful with your tips here, but give it just a little bit of a splatter of Berry Burst. And we can also give it a little splatter of the pink. And maybe even, this is like a party splatter here. Well, I'm going to just twist this, and we'll just do a little bit of a lemon lime. Okay. Now let's put some dimensionals on the back of this, and we will add this to our card base. And I'm just going to do 3 on that. Call it art. Call it good. Okay, all right, bring in the card base, and it's going to drop down here over on the right side. I'm just going to kind of put it right about there. And next layer will be this one, and this one's going to come right across here. So I can see I'm going to need a little bit of a dimensional action right there. So let me put a little dimensional there, then we'll glue the rest of this down. This is going to glue, and it's going to come right, and I'm going to line this edge up with the edge of my DSP. So I need to come down just a skosh to cover my dimensional, and because that's where it goes. Okay, there's that. Then this layer here. So I need a little bit of dimensional action on my branch here. So I'm going to come in, and I am going to just, let's see, I'm going to take a larger dimensional here. And I'm just going to slice some of this right off. Just a narrow little strip like that. So I can put some dimension. Whoops. Hey, where'd it go? Oh, it's on the scissors. I'm like, hey, it's gone. Okay. So just some dimensional action right there on the end. And let's do it one more time. Okay. So we'll just take this dude, and we'll put it right about there. That might have been too much dimensional. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. And then we'll put glue on the rest of this. Just like that. And it's going to stretch kind of across this pink. Just like so. Okay, get that dimensional cover out of there. Get out. Okay, so let's put the bird on the branch here. So we'll just use some dimensionals for this whole bird. And we'll do a mini. Doesn't need to be quite such a big one over here, just to balance that. Okay. So now we'll set the bird right on the branch, right about there. Okay, just like so. Now let's add some leaves to our branch. This is what kind of, to me, brings this card to life, are all these leaves. So, and it doesn't matter which leaf you use because they're all very similar, but I'm just going to put a leaf like right there. And then we'll do another one. So we're just going to kind of fill this in, just have some fun gardening. Just kind of tack these on like so. And let's see, let's find two that are a different size so I can put them side by side. So these two are a different size. I'm going to kind of do them right up in here, up in here, up in here. So we're going to have this one kind of come that direction, maybe tuck under that bird. And then this one, we'll kind of put that one right there. So cute, you guys. I wish you could see them in person. They really are quite charming. And then let's see, we'll have this one there. And then just to break those three up, I did another one right across. So it's growing from here. Coming right across just like that, kind of breaks that up a little bit. Actually, let's move it down just a skosh. Whoops. Just down here just a little bit. That's better. Okay. And we have one growing this direction. And another, let's grab a big one. This one's pretty big. Oh, no, that's a small, this one. We'll have one last right in here. Super cute, super cute. Look at our tree, it's so cute. So I have a few extra here. Use that for another card. Now let's bring in the flowers here. And so the flowers, I'm going to add dimensionals just to the back centers like we've been doing. Okay, and then we'll add these to our card. Super cute. We're going to put one here. And we'll give this one a buddy, being sure that they're not on the same angle. And I'm going to leave, there's another one going right there. I'm going to leave it free for just a second. Okay, so before I put this last one on, I'm leaving it free because I want to put some twine right there. And so I want to be able to get to that twine and then put the flower on top. So let's do the same thing we did on the last card. And that is to tie a twine bow. Okay. Hello. Maybe we'll tie a bow. I can't tell which loop to pull through. If you lose it, there it is. Okay. So here's my bow. It's not very good just yet. How many times does it take you guys to tie a bow? To make it to look the right way, that the loops aren't twisted, tails aren't too short. Okay. You can see it takes me at least twice, sometimes 3 times. Just curious if anybody gets it right the first time. Okay, so I think I've got it the way I want it. It's kind of flopping over, but I'll train it with where I'm gonna stick it. It will kind of hold it in place. So there are my ends, are even. And now we'll put a little glue dot on there. Let's kind of open these up just a little bit here. Okay. I don't know. This one's not behaving. You will behave. Okay, you're going to flip that way. I'm going to flip it back. Yes, the black and white is awesome against these colors, the bright colors. I love the black and white with the bright color. I think it's awesome. So that we'll be doing that with the Zany Zoo, because the backs of all the Zany Zoo paper is are all those black and white prints. And you know, putting the black and white with some bright colors like Lemon Lime Twist, Berry Burst. It just is fun, fun, fun. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck that right in there. And hopefully my ends will cooperate. Or maybe they won't. But there's our cute, fun little bow. Love that dimension. And now I'm going to do a flower right in there. Yeah, the twine can have its own memory, has its own mind of what it wants to do. I don't want to behave. I want to come over here and do this. Okay, so now this flower is just going to kind of come right in there and kind of fix everything. And now let's add, whoops, sorry folks, hit the camera. Let's add some Stella to the flowers. Even to the bird, especially the glasses. You know, just have some fun. The leaves, just bring it all to life with a little bit of Stella Sparkle. There we go. Okay, we have some of our opal rounds, and the pink and the freesia look great on this card. So I'm going to use the two pink, and then I'm going to use some of the freesia as well. So let's kind of take this big guy here, and I'm going to create a trio right here. So here's one, and then I'll do the other pink, and we'll just kind of create that trio. So we have like 1, 2, 3, and now I have these two right here that I can add. So I'm going to do a small. I think I'm going to do a small right in and about. I'll just do this one right here. And then this one, this other freesia, we'll just kind of tuck it down here. Just have some fun. And there you go. There's card number 2, front is done. But now you have to see what we're going to do with the inside. It's not anything fabulous and spectacular, but it is super cute. I'll show you on my original what the inside looks like. We're going to create this scallop piece of paper. And hopefully you guys can guess what this is right here. Hopefully you can guess. Let me get some guesses in there while I get my piece of paper out and the ink pad. So we're going to use Bubble Bath for the inside. And we're going to use that smaller piece of paper. So make sure it's your 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to create this scalloped edge with Bubble Bath ink. And has anybody guessed what we're going to create this with? It's super cute. Super, super cute. We are going to use, let me get my scratch paper in here. We're going to use the book image. We're going to use the book image over and over and over and over and over again to create this striped, scalloped edge. But let me get the black off of it and we'll stamp it a couple times, get it clean. And so here's what I'm going to do. When I ink up, I'm going to ink up such that I don't catch this line right here. So let me show you. So let me ink it up. So I'm using kind of the top corner of my pad. And so when I stamp it, you'll see that that top line coming across is missing. So that's what we're going to do every time, is just ink up so that that top line is missing. Start at the bottom here. And work yourself off the edge of the page. And we're just going to stamp that over and over. So let me scooch this over just a little bit. So again, just the top portion. And then just line that scallop right up. And I think you'll be surprised how easy it really is. Okay? But what's fun is it creates this whimsical scallop up our paper. Okay? So just being sure not to ink the top of the book. and just come right in there each time. Okay. It's habit that you want to get the whole thing on there. So it's like, whoa, hold back. But super cute. Super, super cute. Look how fun this is on the inside. Be a great touch on the front of a card as well. And that wasn't hard, right? Okay, let's do it all over again. Party. Okay, we'll just set that on. Let's see, how many times does it take to stamp up? That was 1. There's 2. Oh, shoot, Queen. 2. That's the beauty of photopolymer, right? You can kind of line them up. There's 3. 4. Cat says 8. You're probably right. 5. Getting ink on the side of my hand. 6. Yep, Cat, I do believe you're right. 7. It's like that wise old owl eating the lollipop, the Tootsie Roll. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll? 3, right? 1, 2, crunch. Okay, so there's our fun scalloped paper, our faux scalloped paper. And now let's stamp some greetings in here. So this is a little hello card. And so we're going to use wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you. That's cute, right? Let's stamp that in black. And we'll do that just right up here on the top. That. And I can see I missed a little spot. I'm going to go with it. It's no big deal. I'm not going to worry. It's fine. Now I'm going to add the flower here. We'll stamp a flower off the edge of the paper. And another one to counter it down here off the edge of the paper. I rotated the image both times. And one right there. Okay, so that is our stamping. Now, there is a little bit more action happening here on this layer. And it's going to be in the form of blends. So, with the Mango Melody, I'm going to give my centers some color here. That's kind of a no-brainer. And I'm going to switch to the bullet end, and I'm going to do just a little swish of color inside a few of these letters. So, I'm going to do the happiness. And I'm going to do a little bit on that O. I didn't color the whole O, just a teeny tiny bit there. It's just a little bit of zhuzh. Okay, there's a little bit of sparkle with that. And let's bring in a little berry burst. Be gentle with this color. You don't want it to look like a crime scene. There you have it. Kind of fan these a little bit to dry. And then let's bring in our card base here and add this to the inside. It's a pretty fancy card. Not a lot of fun folds on this class, but definitely pretty fancy. So this will just, classic layer, just lay that right inside. Give yourself some even borders there. Okay. And there you have it, folks. There is our second bird's eye view card. Kind of cute, kind of fun. Spunky silly. All right, now for my favorite card. Oh my goodness gracious. I love this card, you guys. And it's the easiest card that we're going to do. So I'm starting with a Coastal Cabana card base, half sheet, scored in half. Nothing hard here. Okay, I have a lemon lime twist circle. It's the same size circle we cut on the card just before this. So it's about 2.5 inches around, right? And we're going to stamp, let's stamp this one right away. And I'm going to stamp this with the little things you do make such a big difference. We'll stamp it in Memento Black. And I'm going to stamp it off to the right side a little bit. Okay? So just bring it all the way over like so. So that we have some space to do some designing around that. So there is that. Then on our white, so we have another sheet of white here, we're going to stamp some images. We're going to stamp the books in black. Okay, I will give this a little bit of a bath. Okay, so black books. So we'll stamp a stack of black books. I'm going to come over just a little bit so that the tail feathers of the bird will fit. And this bird, this is my favorite bird in this set. So we're going to stamp this bird. He's going to stand on top of the books, like so. So cute. Seriously, super cute. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna rotate my paper here, and we're going to stamp the books again, only this time I just need one book. So I'm just gonna kind of stamp towards the bottom of the paper there, like so. And then we'll take the little bird. We've been doing this little bird. We'll take the little bird, and the little bird is gonna stand, oh shoot. I was supposed to stamp the bird first. Okay, well, let's do the bird over here. So, stamp the bird first. Scratch, okay? We don't want those books. We could use them for something else if we wanted. But we're going to stamp the bird first. Bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. So, stamp the bird first. And I already have a little mask for the bird, right? And I'm going to cover up the bird like so. Okay, now do your books. And so this bird is he's sitting on the books. And we only need one book, so don't worry if your books get cut off. Okay, so now when you take the mask off, the birdie is on the books. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me just kind of move this out of the way. So these are the images that we're going to need, not too much. We also need to die cut ourselves another little banner there, okay? So die cut yourself a white banner, and we're gonna fussy cut all of these images. So let's see, I have my banner already cut, so that's done. And I have my birds partially cut, and I have this set already done, and I did the whole stack, but I am going to cut I'm going to cut 2 of the books off, so not to worry. So I have that pre-cut out just so you don't have to sit and watch me do all that fussy cutting. Okay, so I do want to finish the stamping and the coloring of these though. So what we're going to do is, if you remember, I said always fussy cut the hardest part first. So that's why I've left some paper around this. So yes, I have this cut out, but I wanted to leave enough paper so that when I cut this out with my hobby blade, again, like I did at the beginning, it's not gonna have just these 2 skimpy little legs on the outside trying to hold things together. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my self-healing mat and we'll cut these little legs out. So I like to come down this one side first. Seems to be my usual. And then I'm going to come across this bottom. And then this leg. And this to me is a step that really, I really do think it makes a difference, especially since this bird, in fact, I'm going to leave that there for just a second. So I'll punch it out in a very second. I want to show you the difference. So let me just finish fussy cutting this out. So let's just come in here, get these little pieces off, and I want to show you the difference when you're up against a color of when you have that in there and when you don't, and why I do take it out. It's an extra step. And I see a lot of people that don't do it, but I like the look of it being done. I like it trimmed out just a little bit better. And I could have done this just a skosh closer. That's better. Okay. So I know people call it fussy cutting. I actually really prefer to call it detail cutting. Okay, so here it is up against the blue, right? But if I take that out, take this piece out right here. Okay, I'm a little caught up right there. If I take that out, look how much better it looks when that blue is coming through between the legs. Far more, not realistic, but you know, I just think it's a step that is needed. You could go without, but I say if you can do it, do it. All right. So there are our birds. So let's do some stamping on this now. We're going to stamp thank you. This is going to be a thank you note. So we're going to stamp thank you. I just need to get the image. So this is from the Pansy Patch set of stamps. Let me just find myself a block here. Okay, and I'm going to give it a clean. I think it's clean, but I'm just going to give it a quick clean to make sure. And I'm going to use my memento, and I'm going to ink up the word you. Just ink up the word you. And you could put a piece of Scotch tape on there, but I think there's enough gap in between the thank and the you that you can ink that up without getting ink on the K. And we'll stamp the U right down here on the bottom of our banner. And give it a quick clean. And now let's ink up the word thank. So now Julie pops on. Julie Beltramo, you popped on and you missed that I used the word birthday. You missed my birthday card. My happy birthday. I'll show it at the end here. Now I'm going to put the word thank right across. Just like that. I like rearranging the greetings. You know, don't be so set that it has to be, you know, thank you going just straight across. Rearrange your images. Okay. So now I'm going to take this. I'm going to bring my trimmer in so that I have a good score on this. I'm going to get my cutting blade out of there. And I'm going to maybe fold this down. So I've got my points there at 1.5 inches. Just do a little score line right across that. And we're going to fold this over like that. And it's going to lap over the top, just like so. So this card has been inspired for our sketch challenge tomorrow over at TGIF. So tomorrow there's a sketch challenge at TGIF, and you're seeing mine. You're getting a sneak peek of mine. So I'm just cutting myself a nice piece of twine here. And I'm going to layer that. I'm going to get some glue going on this here in just a second. Did I use glue or dimensional? Let me see my original. I used a dimensional. So I'm going to put a dimensional on this end. And I'm going to put glue on this tab that's going to go over to the back. Okay, maybe I'm going to use some glue. Doesn't want to come out right now. Okay, and I'm going to have my twine. I need to kind of get that inside there. So it's just, oh, I'm not going to put it on yet. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't put it on. We have a whole background we have to stamp on this. My favorite part of this card. Wait till you see it. Okay, so I mentioned we were doing tone-on-tone backgrounds. So you saw a background on the first card with the old olive. Then we used the book for the other card. It wasn't quite a background, but we used a book. Now we're going to use the glasses to create our background for this page. And this is what makes this card so super cute. We're going to use the glasses, the round glasses. Okay, I'm going to fold my paper. I'm going to give it a little bit of a crisper fold, hoping it'll lay. Yep, that's much better. Now it's laying flat. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, folks. This pair of glasses, we're going to create an entire background on here. So I'm just going to start right about there. And I'm just going to stamp myself all the way across. Just like so. Super cute. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and fill that top row in, only I'm going to jump in and I'm going to stagger these. Okay, so this is Coastal Cabana cardstock. It's a half a sheet of cardstock folded in half. It is going to be a landscape card, and it has a top fold there. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue to fill in, just like so. Just fill this all in, and it's not too bad. It's kind of like stamping the books up the side. You saw, you know, we had to do it several times, but this looks so good when it's done. And it looks really good with the black and white print we're going to use. Okay, next row. Where does my next row? Oh, it goes here. Like, wait, I'm lost. Okay. Yep, Julie, you did. You missed the birthday card. But I did give you credit. And I did it just like you told me. Okay. And you know, I think this is just going to be the last row because the rest of this is going to get covered with DSP. Cute. Is that not cool or what? It doesn't even look like glasses anymore, but it has a super cool look to it. So look at your stamps. What can they be used for besides just glasses, right? Okay, so I mentioned we needed some prints. So we have our paper here, all right? We have this piece right here. This is the piece I want to use. And so I'm going to cut a piece. Let me see. I don't remember how wide this is. Okay, so we're going to cut a piece of this. It was a collaborative brainstorm, yes. So I'm going to cut this down. I need 1 1/4 inches on this DSP. 1 1/4. And I want it to be 4 1/8. So I'm just doing a skinny little strip. No, sorry, not 4 1/8. We've got a landscape card. It's going to be 5 3/8. Okay, so 5 3/8 by 1 1/4 or something similar to that. And this is going to glue across the bottom of our paper right there. Okay, so let's glue that on. Okay, we'll wiggle this a little just to kind of spread that glue around a little. Okay, there is our DSP and our card base, looking kind of fun and funky. Now let's come in here with our circle, and our circle is going to go on with dimensionals. Then we need to do some coloring of our images. Okay, there's one. I'm just going to do 4 on this one because we've got stuff coming up on it that needs to balance. Okay, and it's going to come right in here like so. So right about like that. And now this right here that we were adding our tab, and I was so glad I remembered to, it goes up here, just like this, and it's going to come in there. But before we put that dimensional down, let's throw, and I'm just kind of running my fingers across this, let's put our twine in there, and now we can close that shut, and this is going to tie. You can move it down just a little bit. We're just going to tie this in a bow and hope it behaves the first time. Yay! Close. The smaller ones are better. Smaller bows, meaning. Okay, we'll just kind of hunker down on that to tighten it. Get that twisted just the way I want it. Let me even out my tails. I didn't do a very good job. Oh, this color combo gets even better because we're going to add Berry Burst. And we're going to add some pink. It is a great card. It's my favorite card today. I always do my favorite one I usually do last. Okay. There's that. Now that we have this going, we can color our birds. So let me just move that out of the way. Let's bring our stacks in here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to cut these books off. We're going to make this a 1 stack book. So I'm just coming straight across. Okay, there's that. Okay, let's get these images all colored in. Let's start with Mango Melody because we just need a little swoosh of that right on their beaks. There's Mango Melody. And now we're gonna bring in Bubble Bath and Berry Burst and Pool Party. That's gonna be our Coastal Cabana because there aren't Coastal Cabana blends, right? And then I pulled out Lemon Lime Twist. So we got a little bit of everything on this. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Berry Burst, and this is the lighter Berry Burst, and I'm going to color the top of the book here. Is this light or dark? It's light. It's just kind of an intense color. So there's Berry Burst. I'm gonna keep the pages white, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit on the spine there. So there's my dark, or the light Berry Burst. Now I'm gonna come in with a little bit of dark and just kind of, just kind of giving it a little bit of action here and there. Just adding a little bit of depth of color. There's that book is done. Now let's do the bird since we're here. The bird, I'm gonna do Pool Party on all of his body. Again, if you leave a few white spaces here and there, it's good. I'm gonna take the dark Pool Party, just like we've done on some of the other birds, and hit this side over here, maybe a little bit up in his head. And then his wing will be light Lemon Lime. Nope, that's dark. So this is, remember earlier I said I got the caps screwed up? Okay, this is light. I need to get the right caps. So I'm just doing a swoosh of color right there. And then with the dark, I'll just kind of follow these little feather lines. All right, so now let's get the right lids. So this is dark, right? Okay. That's a dark lid. Okay, sorry. Game delay. Got to get it going the right way. So there's this bird and book. Now let's do this one. This is my favorite bird of all for today. So let's do the books first, get those out of the way. I'm going to start with light Bubble Bath. And so I'm going to do this book just like I did this book, only we're going to switch the colors up a little bit. That, and I'm going to do a little bit of Bubble Bath right here on this book. So we'll add some dark into this just to kind of, that's why we're using blends, right? So we can mix those colors up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to do a couple spines here with the Berry Burst. So this book, and then we'll do this one right here as well. And so we need to do right there. Okay, let's just give that Berry Burst a little bit of zhuzhing. Okay, and maybe a little bit more blending right in here. Cool, cool, cool. There are our books. Now for the bird. The bird is so cute. Okay, so it's going to be Pool Party and Lemon Lime Twist, just like the other one. And so let's start with the light Pool Party. And I'm going to do his body in light Pool Party. Again, I'm kind of staying away from the eyes and the lines and the things so that they don't smear. Let's add some dark Pool Party here and there. Look at my nib on that. Let's use this end. That actually works. Okay, gonna kind of come under the wing as well, under his butt. Maybe a little bit right in here. And where I've done my dark, I'm gonna come back in and blend that with my light, just so that the edges aren't so harsh. So let me bring that up so you can see. Now, I'm gonna do some striping in here on this. We're gonna make this as a very fanciful bird. It's not anything like real life, right? We'll come right in here. And I'm going to do a little bit right there. And then his tail feather, I'm going to do one blue right in there. So let's do a little bit more decor. Let's kind of give this just a little bit of, and this is so small in that area, it's not really going to show. And we'll blend that dark just a little bit back with the light. Cool. Now we're going to do some lemon lime twist. This is light lemon lime. And so I'm going to do a little light right there. And I'm going to do a little light right here. Is this light or dark? It's dark! Shoot, Queen, I wanted light. I was wondering why. I'm like, hey, it's looking pretty dark here. Anyways, there's the light. And then I'm going to do light on the bottom here. We'll do another light green right in there. Another kind of right in there. So there's our green. Now let's do just a little bit of dark right in there. Kind of zhuzh that up. And I can't really make it darker on the dark, right? I guess I can kind of come in here and layer more color in. Okay, so there's our bird. Look how cute they are in that color. But now let's make them really stand out and really shine. They're getting wink. The whole thing's getting wink. They're getting Stella sparkled. It just really brings these little guys to life. And I'm going to do the spines again that are white. Just kind of a repetition back to our other card. And there you have almost everything you need. Let's just finish this out. This is the sweetest little, simplest little card. And it's going to come in here, and it's going to come right here, just like so. So we need to kind of put this on with dimensionals. I want it to be the same level, but so it's like I need a small here and here, but then the rest of it is going to go on with glue. There's that. Let me put a little glue on this bird. That's going to kind of be up against on top of the green circle layer there. I hope, maybe I forgot to mention, this green circle layer is lemon lime twist. Okay, so here's this first birdie. And now here's his teacher. And so it's just like this edge right in here is going to get glue. So we'll put dimensionals on this other side. So a dimensional there. We'll do one there. And I'm going to do one mini in the tail feather. And then we'll just put a little glue on the rest. Okay. And this one is almost done. Such a cute stamp set. I can't say it enough. Okay, so this is just going to kind of come right in here. How cute is that? Super, super cute. And now I have a couple different gems left here. So I'm going to use these two succulent ones. And we'll use the succulent ones on the card. And we'll just do a couple, whoops, right up in here. Just kind of like so. And I think I used another color where I shouldn't because I had another one down here, but that's okay. That is okay. Where did I put it? Not on that card, on our first card. Oh yeah, I was supposed to use this on the first card. That's okay. Maybe this lighter evergreen might not be quite so, it's too dark. Oh well. Okay, well, I wanted another one down here. So if you have another gem, add another gem right there. You know what? I do. I have a gem right here. Oh, there's a lost one. But I'm not going to open that pack for now. Okay, anyhow, there you have it. We have finished our bird's eye view class. Let me pull this out so we get the ugliness out of there. Here is card number 3. Okay, it is the sketch challenge for TGIF tomorrow, so you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek. And my ends are not quite even. They're a little bit off, so I'm just gonna finish those just like so. Okay, so that's card number 3. Here was card number 2. All right, and then our birthday card. Julie's been waiting to see. Happy birthday. Right in there. So there you have it, folks. There is our bird's eye view class. And Terry, you're just popping on. Hopefully you can kind of go back and rewatch these. I'm kind of hiding my stamping right there just so in case anybody's taking a picture. Maybe not. I will photo these and put these up on our page here so you can see it. But thank you for being here. Next week, again, we will be doing the Trucking Along bundle. And if you weren't here at the beginning, Marsha McCune dropped a big ball of craziness on us. And she informed me that the Paper Florist dies are on back order until September 18th, which means we have to switch either our focus or switch the time. And it sounds like we'll be switching the time to October sometime. So that stamp camp is probably going to move to October. Stay tuned for more on that. I will catch you all next week. Have a great weekend and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.